On October 31st is the day that my life changed forever. God blessed me with Nicholas Andrew Walker, weighing 9 pounds 6 ounces. The excitement was overwhelming. That excitement died down when shortly after, roughly 24 hours, we discovered that Nicholas had some medical issues, brain damage. What is brain damage? Well, the American Heritage Stedman's Medical Dictionary defines brain damage as an injury to the brain that is caused by various conditions, such as head trauma, inadequate oxygen supply, infection, or intracranial hemorrhaging, and that may be associated with behavioral or functioning abnormalities. As you can see, the figure on the left is an MRI of normal brain tissue. It's clear. We may not know what you're looking at since you're not a radiologist, but it's very clear when you look at the other image, the damage to the tissue on the brain. The brain is an amazing organ, and if you're learning, for a normal learning person, you may be able to go from here to here. But when you have brain damage, your brain finds a way to get from here to here. It's just not in a straight path. Kind of zigzags, left, right, south, east. Finally, it gets to where it needs to go. So the brain damage itself does not have to define a person or define their learning abilities. It just changes them. And you find modifications to work with them. On the next slide, you can see an epileptic brain. Nicholas is epileptic. This is a normal brain, normal being a relative term, and this is an epileptic brain. You can see the difference in where the firing is in the brain. Nicholas was born with a left occipital infarction. For those of you who don't know, that means he had a stroke. He had a stroke in the back left corner of his brain in his vision center. He wears glasses. He's got a few issues. Nystagmus, where his eyes jump, but he can see. You know, glasses, he can still see. He also had a superior sagittal sinus vein thrombosis. And for those of you who don't know what that is, as I suspect you don't, it is a blood clot on the brain right here. Okay? This blood clot was so big, roughly the size of my fist. So big that it created an additional blood clot on the transverse vein thrombosis. The doctors gave us the option of putting him on a medication that would either work or it wouldn't. If it didn't work, that he would create bleeds in his brain and we would have to stop the medication. And in that case, he would continue to create blood clots until he went brain dead. We knew there was no choice but to go with the medication. And for 7 very long days, we watched him have an ultrasound of his brain and prayed that there was no bleeding. 7 days later, the blood clots were getting smaller, and we knew that we could breathe. He did continue to have epilepsy, though he has been seizure-free for nearly 5 years. He is the most wonderful blessing. As you can see, these are the injuries that he received. The head trauma. It talked about different causes of brain damage. Head trauma, that would be the sagittal sinus vein thrombosis. The intracranial hemorrhaging was the transverse vein thrombosis. And the inadequate oxygen supply is what caused the infarction, better known as a stroke. You can see that living with brain damage does not have to define an individual. As you can see, Nicholas, well, is adorable. Of course, I'm a little biased. He is 12 years old and the most perfect blessing in the world. I love him with all of my heart. And as we watch him progress through his education, yes, he needs modifications, but he's still in middle school. He still remembers his locker combination. And not only that, this kid is on the AB honor roll. This is my Nicholas. Thank you.